Hi, and welcome to this clip having a look at how we can determine the water crystallization in hydrated copper 2 nitrate using a redox titration question, and the actual redox titration is an iodine thiosulfate version. So here it gives the question, and the first three sentences obviously tell us the stages of a procedure that was carried out by a student. So let's visualize that first of all and think about what's going on so we can decide where the numbers go. Once we know where the numbers go, we can use them in the right way in the calculation. So it says a student dissolved 1.365 grams of CuNO32, that's your copper 2 nitrate, and then it says .xH2O, that's your water crystallization. The X represents the number of moles of water that are present. They made up the solution to 250 centimeters cubed. So your blue copper nitrate hydrated version will start looking like that, and then obviously once you put it into a volumetric flask and make it up to 250 centimeters cubed, that's what you're going to see if you were to do it yourself in the lab. Then it says the student added 25 centimeters cubed of the solution to a conical flask and added an excess of potassium iodide. Now that's going to create a reaction. Now the reaction is going to involve the production of copper iodide as a precipitate, which is that kind of off-brown color at the bottom of the conical flask, and the iodine is the slightly darker brown color above it. So iodine is formed in a aqueous solution there. Then it says the resulting mixture is titrated against 0.0235 moles per decimeter cubed Na2S2O3, that's your thiosulfate, and 24.05 centimeters cubed was required to reach the endpoint. So titrating the iodine with the thiosulfate, and the endpoint is reached once the starch has been added towards the endpoint. The starch goes colorless at 24.05 centimeters cubed. So obviously what I'm doing in this visualization is I'm assuming I have a little bit of prior knowledge of this type of redox titration, because this is actually a homework that I set my students. So it's not taking you through how a thiosulfate iodine titration works. It's assuming you have a little bit of working knowledge about what you'd expect to see. So when I say visualize it, what I really mean is just take a minute or two to do a few little sketches. I've obviously used photographs and diagrams, but just a few simple sketches for a couple of minutes allows you to park your ideas down on the paper, and then you can think about where all the numbers go and where it's important to use them. So now we can do the calculation, because we've got to think about what's been happening in the practical. So you put down your two equations. Now in an actual exam question, they would normally provide you with the 2Cu2 plus 4i minus going to 2Cui solid plus I2. And they'd probably also provide you with the second equation, which is the actual redox titration itself. So I'm going to highlight the species of interest. So what I mean by that is the mole ratio of thiosulfate to iodine can be connected back to copper through the fact that the iodine is produced in the first reaction and then titrated in the second. So I'm going to use the data moles equation moles answer approach to enable me to sort of park the relevant bits of data and do the calculations with them in the right order. It also gives a little bit of structure to what I'm doing and keeps things in line for working towards the final answer. So then it says the resulting mixture is titrated. Now we've talked about that already, but we're going to use those values because that concentration and that volume can be used to work out the moles of thiosulfate, which in this case is 5.65175 times 10 to the minus 4 moles. So just making sure that you keep your calculator value all the way through. The next thing to do is from the equation, you can work out that the mole ratio of thiosulfate to copper 2 plus is 1 to 1. I've obviously created a bit of space up here to do my final workings because you can see I'm going to run out of space at the bottom fairly soon here. So highlighting the two species there, you can see it's a 2:2 ratio, so I'm just going to say the simplest version, which is 1:1. So now I can work out what the number of moles of copper is in 25 centimeters cubed, and therefore scaling that up, it ends up as 5.65175 times 10 to the minus 3 in 250 centimeters cubed, so 10 times more than it was in the titration. Now the reason for that is because this value goes 10 times into this value. So the next connection to make in your head is that the number of moles of copper 2 plus ion that you've now established are present is the same as the number of moles of the full hydrated salt. Because if you look at the equation, the formula, you can see there's only one copper inside copper 2 nitrate. So what you do is you divide the mass of copper, hydrated copper nitrate that you were told you had, which is your 1.365 grams, divided by your newly calculated number of moles of copper 2 plus, which, like we've just said a moment ago, is the same as the number of moles of your hydrated salt. So that gives you 241.518 ... This is a truncated value, so again I'm keeping my calculator value. Now I need to work out the molar mass of the anhydrous copper nitrate. So I'm taking away the XH2O and just considering the Cu, the N, and the O. So I can take my periodic table and obtain 63.5 for copper, 14.0 for nitrogen, and 16.0 for oxygen. And multiplying them up by the relevant numbers, that gives you 187.5 grams per mole. So the next step is to work out the difference between these two values. So that's your hydrated molar mass, this is your anhydrous molar mass. So that must mean that 54.02 ... again a truncated value, is the molar mass of the XH2O. Now taking account of the fact that water is 18 grams per mole, you divide that 54.02 by 18 and that gets you 3. So that must mean X is equal to 3. So the formula we're looking for is CuNO3 2.3H2O. Okay, I hope this has been a useful look at an example of using an iodine thiosulfate redox titration to work out the number of moles of water crystallization. Until next time, thanks for listening and see you soon.